Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. This is the Big 12 Insiders Power Rankings. Man, Fitz, a lot has changed. I mean, every single week, it's up and down. It's all over the place. The Big 12 is just, I mean, it's gone crazy. First of all, last week in college football itself was absolutely insane. It just, upsets were all over the place. I don't know that there were that many upsets in the Big 12 per se, but there were some things that changed the power rankings this week, some big games.
Yeah. I feel like we owe everyone an apology. We warned you the Big 12 was volatile, newcomers. We didn't warn you enough. This is insanity. The wins and losses don't add up. This team beats that team, then loses to this team who beat that team. And I'm telling you, it's a lesson that the Pac-12 schools need to learn, that what you do one week to another doesn't always translate.
No.
And teams can play horrible, great, horrible, okay. I mean, it's just chaotic in this conference. You know what? Maybe sometimes it's a sign that the teams aren't that great, maybe, but it sure is fun to cover. I can tell you that. And I do question how good the top of this conference actually is, because we still haven't really sorted it out. Let's be honest. We've got that basically the same top three as last week, but I don't think they're going to be the top three in 2 or 3 weeks.
And that's the thing that it's, you just don't know. You give it 3 weeks, this entire conference could be flipped on its head. You know what? But for the first time, maybe not the Big Ten, but even in the SEC, it's the same thing is going on. It's like these teams that were at the top of the conference, they have losses. So it's, to me, I think it's exciting. I am all in on it. I think it's great. And plus, for anybody that does not know, I love chaos. I am the chaos king. And so the more chaos, the better. That's why I love Big 12 conference, man. It's just, you never know from each week. And again, we're going to reveal these power rankings and let you know we match them up against the publishers. The publishers are 24/7 that cover the Big 12 teams. They do their own poll that they come out with. I have mine. Fitz sometimes agrees, sometimes he doesn't. But we match it up against what they see, and then we go from there. So, but before we get into that, again, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to send those comments in. We love it. And like I said, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on anything. We just love the commentary, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when all Big 12 Insider stuff comes out. So let's get into this, Fitz. Look, number 16 is Kansas. I just period, end of story. It stopped losing football games. At one point, Fitz, they're going to say, even though Jalen Daniels had a pretty good game, he didn't throw an interception, I should say. If 58% passing is not good, I don't care what you say. But at some point, they're going to just say, you know what? We're going to play some complimentary football, and we're going to continue running the football because we're having success. Our defense has struggled the last couple of weeks, so we're going to try to keep the ball out of the opposing offense's hands, and we're just going to run it. No, Kansas has decided they don't want to do that, and now the only team that they've beaten on their schedule, after having the lead in 5 straight games in the fourth quarter, the only team that they've beaten is Lindenwood, so you are last in the Big 12 Conference.
That's crazy, because this team isn't bad. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, losing these kind of close games. I am all in a row. I joked with someone online. It's like the pro wrestling of my childhood, when the guy would almost get pinned every time and lift that shoulder and then get up and win. And that's what opponents are doing to Kansas. I got you pinned. No, you lost. It's crazy. And here's the thing. Big 12, be warned. If they wake up and start playing consistent defense and don't let teams just march down the field whenever they need points. It's insanity. This team is going to beat people. They are. They are. They're talented enough. They got enough dudes. If the offensive coordinator can figure out to give the ball to Devin Neal and Highshaw more and more and more, they'll win.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that.
No, they're not. It's crazy to think where they were to begin the season. But you know what? Sometimes, Bill Parcells said you are what your record is, and they're 1-5. Like I said, and it doesn't. Like I said, they're talented, but you can see how they're losing these games. I mean, it's not a mystery on how they're losing these games. So they got to play better. Period. Yep. The story. Play more complimentary football. I think the coaches, and I have no qualms in saying this, I think the coaches are letting down the team right now by not putting them in good enough positions to win.
Agreed.
At number 15 Fitz, TCU, and you should be ashamed. Look, this was a game that they lost to Houston that a lot of people, myself included, thought it was, okay, this is a get-right game for them. Houston hadn't scored a point in 2 weeks, not 1 point in 2 weeks. And they go to TCU, and TCU didn't look interested. They didn't look prepared for the football game. None of that existed in Fort Worth on Friday night. And Houston, who had a decent defense, came in there and just took it right to TCU. The wheels are falling off at TCU right now.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Ever since that national championship game in 22 when they got smoked, this has been a tailspin, a spiral. Oh, my goodness. I knew Max Duggan was impressive and important to their success that season, but they're just not the same program at all.
No.
At all. From top to bottom now, it's coming apart. And now you ask a question I didn't think would be asked. Does Sonny Dykes survive? And right now, I don't see any way he can.
I mean, I would guess if they get to 500 maybe, but TCU's got enough money and they're a proud program. They're going to say, you know what? Let's stop this in its tracks right here and let's go a different direction. And the only reason I say that is if you get rid of a guy like Gary Patterson and everything that they've done that he did for that program, you're going to tell me you're going to let it tailspin and go back to that? No, they're not going to do that there. They're just not. So,
Agreed.
Ugly. 14 is Houston. Congratulations to Houston for not quitting. But Fitz, we talked about this. Willie Fritz wasn't going to let that happen. He wasn't going to let them quit, and they haven't quit. They're not good. They still have offensive issues, but they made a quarterback change. It seems to be maybe the guys are buying in a little bit. He probably has sat down some people that are leftovers that weren't true believers. And he's saying, if we're going to lose my way with my guys that believe in this. And lo and behold, they go and get a big road win. And I'll be quite frank with you. I don't think this is the last game that Houston wins this year.
No.
I think they're going to upset another team or two just for the simple fact of who their head coach is.
Yep, I agree. It was impressive. They kind of stole the thunder. They went in there and the opponent thought they were going to get healthy. They didn't get healthy.
No.
Congratulations to Houston. It's good to see you back if you're ever around. I'm not sure. It's good to have you playing more competitive football.
Absolutely. Good for Houston, man. At number 13, I never thought I would say this season. Even in a crazy Big 12 world, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a bad football team, Fitz.
Bad.
They can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. They can't throw the ball. They are a bad football team. This is the second time in 3 weeks that they've literally been bullied on their home field. Yep. With all the starters and everything that they had coming back, with the type of coach that Mike Gundy is, for this to happen, and this was worse. I mean, and it keeps getting worse. It was bad. Utah whipped you. They had a backup quarterback that's not very good. They come in there and say, yeah, we don't need to throw it a whole lot. We're just going to whip you. And they did. Go to Kansas State. It got worse. Kansas State just did wind sprints up and down the field and smacked them around. Then you come home, West Virginia is looking, not that their season was off the rails, but they need a win here to get some stuff figured out, to get them going in the direction that a lot of us thought they'd go. And the game wasn't even competitive. Fitz, what is going on?
I literally don't know. It looks like it's finally the end of the Mike Gundy era. But we said that last year, and he recovered. I just don't understand. And if you want to get confused by the volatility of college football this season, just look at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
They beat Arkansas, that just beat Tennessee. Do you think Oklahoma State could beat Tennessee?
No.
Hell no.
No.
I mean, and you think, oh, Utah's really dominant. They went in there and won that game. And then you see the next couple performances by Oklahoma State. Now you question Utah altogether,
Right.
considering what happened to Utah. Oklahoma State is, well, for lack of a more scientific term, crap in the bed. And at least they're doing it thoroughly, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around a Mike Gundy team being this much of a mess.
Well, part of the problem, and we can say this, they have to make a quarterback change.
Yep.
Look, your season isn't going to get any better if you keep Alan Bowman as your quarterback. He's playing awful.
He's
Not bad, Fitz. He's playing awful.
Bad.
So if you're going to continue, if you're going to continue down this road, it's not going to change. And I understand that maybe the backup isn't any better. I get that. But I know one thing, it isn't getting better if he's your quarterback. I'm just sorry. I mean, unless something drastically changes, which I don't think it's gonna, I mean, the season kind of is what it is, and they have gone downhill. It's sad what's going on in Stillwater, because that's
let me say this. I'm not one to usually attack college kids.
Right.
But Alan Bowman is a 47-year-old insurance salesman that is playing college football. And his number one concern in every game is, I don't want to get hit. Yeah. It's not about winning. It's not about making that play. I don't want to get hit. It can be 3rd and 9, and he could have a receiver maybe down the field that he could take a chance on, or he could throw it away and make sure he doesn't get hit. He'll throw it away.
Yeah. And you can't play college. You can't play any type of football that way. When you're playing college football, man, you got to stand in there. That's part of the job description of a quarterback. Sometimes you're going to get hit, and you're right. He's not doing that. His accuracy is all over the place, and it's just not good football right now.
Someone not telling him, you're not good enough to make that sidearm thing you're trying to do.
Yeah,
you need to be better at that to try it in a game. How about you move your feet and make a pass instead of whatever that is? I don't understand what that is. I mean, you're not Patrick Mahomes. He gets away from fundamentals way too often.
Yeah, he's as old as Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
He's just good.
Oddly, I think he is, yeah.
At number 12, Baylor. Look, Baylor just keeps on fighting, Fitz. I mean, for a team to get beat the way they got beat at Colorado, which was, again, coaching. I've never seen somebody just mishap 2 Hail Marys on defense, 2 in a row. I've never seen that happen before, but Baylor somehow figured out a way to do that. Then to be getting your head beaten in the very next week in the first quarter, 21-0, they have not quit on Dave Aranda. Props to Dave Aranda. I don't think he's going to be the coach at Baylor next year, because I don't think there's a way that they're going to win enough games for him to stick around. But who knows? Because in this crazy conference, if they keep fighting, they may end up with 6 wins, Fitz, because yes, they lost to Iowa State and it got ugly. I mean, it was a 3-touchdown game at the end, but Iowa State had to kick it in gear, because in the third quarter, Baylor had the lead and Baylor didn't quit. Like I said, they're not a great football team, but they're fighting. Those kids are fighting. It's hats off to their coach too.
I agree with everything you said. I have nothing to add. I'm really impressed about how they keep persisting through rough times.
Yeah, because they have every reason to quit. I mean, the alumni wants the coach gone. They've lost these games, these close, tough games. They're not as good as what maybe they anticipated they could be. Their quarterback that they brought in, transfer quarterback, it looks like the backup was better than him. But either way, he's hurt and not playing good. Hats off to Baylor. So
backup's good.
Yeah, he is good. He is good. He's a scrapper. And I think the team is kind of taking their cues from him a little bit, Fitz, is that he's scrapping, fighting, clawing. And the team is like, well, you know what? If this guy, who maybe doesn't have the most talent, but I think he's pretty good, maybe he doesn't have the talent that other people might have, he's fighting. If he's going to fight, then damn it, we got to fight too. So good for them, man.
Yep,
at number 11, UCF. Last week and the previous 2 weeks, UCF fans have been in the comments telling me I didn't know football. I was shortchanging UCF. Get off the channel. You have no clue what you're talking about. Well, 2 weeks later, I'm going to guess none of those people are going to be saying those things. UCF blew a huge opportunity against Florida to go win a game in Florida. And look, we don't know. Florida's lost 2 games. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't believe that they're that good. But either way, big missed opportunity. And here you sit at number 11. And I think this is about right. Now, again, that doesn't mean they're going to stay at number 11. But as of this week, that's where UCF is, Fitz. They're at 11.
Their victories are over New Hampshire, Sam Houston, and TCU.
Yeah.
I'm not sure TCU beats Sam Houston at this moment.
No, I don't know. And that's the thing about UCF is, they were pumping their chest up about that comeback against TCU. And at the time, okay, maybe that seemed a little good. Hey, right now, that win is useless because TCU is awful. So they got a lot to prove. A lot of football left for everybody. A lot of football left for UCF, but yeah, they gotta move on because again, they got whipped by Colorado, and then you come back. Okay, and I think that took their sails out because I think if they win that game against Colorado, maybe it looks different at Florida. But not only did they lose to Colorado, Fitz, they got blown out at home. And then you go to Florida, and Florida physically whipped you. Now where do you go? So they're going to have to dig deep. They're going to have to fight to get back into this thing.
And Colorado fans are pretty fired up, or Dion fans are pretty fired up about the win. And it is nice. You go on the road in this conference and win anywhere, you've done something. But let's not be fooled that UCF is an elite team in this conference. No. We thought they might be able to earn that. But you go back and look at their wins, they hadn't proven anything yet this year. And so I question the quality of the win, although the win seemed to really kind of boost Colorado.
Correct. Absolutely. Let's reveal the first graphic here compared to the publishers. Everybody has Kansas at 16. TCU. How in the what Fitz? What in the hell? How can TCU be at 13? And I don't see that. How is that possible?
I didn't
give Baylor an opportunity. What are we talking about?
I don't understand either, but I don't even remember my ballot. That's how much time I put into it. But yeah, I agree. TCU should be down towards the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see where the justification comes in. How do you have TCU ahead of Houston when they literally just played on the football field and Houston whipped them? I mean, that happened. I don't know. For me, I got to watch things on the field. And if I just played you and beat you, and it's not like you have 10 more wins than you have one more win than I do. And my one of those wins, I beat you this past week. How can you be ranked higher than me? I don't understand that. But
and I'm gonna point the finger at myself. I just checked my ballot. I did have him higher than you. And you know what? I think I fell victim to the same thing that national poll voters fall for, not realizing the reality of a team. I just graded TCU like the team that played for the national championship a season and a half ago, not like the team it is right now. And I think we had some bias in there based on what TCU's done in the past. So I'm sure that will adjust. I'm positive that will adjust.
And I know they're punishing Baylor because, what they've lost, but how's Oklahoma State 12 and Baylor 15? I'm just not buying that. But because if you look at the two teams, Baylor's fighting, Oklahoma State is not. So they're absolutely not. But let's move on. So at number 10, I have Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's got an opportunity here. I didn't think Cincinnati would get to bowl eligibility. Bearcat fans told me I was crazy. I thought that was, just fandom. Well, they got an opportunity. Their schedule's not the easiest moving forward, but if they're going to get bowl eligible, sometimes you got to fight for that. So I think UC, they've got a big opportunity to do that. But I like them at 10, Fitz. They're better, and their quarterback is better than what a lot of people thought they were going to be.
Agreed. They're just teetering in between the top and bottom. We still need some more evidence based on what's happened in the past, and we'll see. It looks like they've got an early game with UCF. Or no, actually it's 2:30. Scheduled here coming up. Man, I don't know. I literally don't know. I don't know what's going on right now with them, and we'll just see how that all sorts out. They could be really good, Brian. We
Right.
could have just totally whiffed on them. I still don't believe, but we'll start finding out. And like I said, those two teams meeting will sort something out between the two of them.
Correct. And that's the thing is that, they're right. We've got them ranked, or I've got them ranked 10 and 11. And we'll see. And if Cincinnati wants to go bowling, this is a game you got to go win. This is a football game. You got to go win on the road. So hopefully they get that done for the Bearcat fans there. At number 9, we got West Virginia. Look, I would love to give West Virginia even more credit for that win in Stillwater, but I can't do it. I just can't. Oklahoma State's not good. They're just not good right now. So I can't give them more credit. West Virginia, I know, is still just kicking themselves. Look, Pitt is undefeated, so you're going to give them credit. And Pitt is currently ranked. But they are kicking themselves because they gave that game away against Pitt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They gave it away. I know they are kicking themselves about that. But here they are. They're number 9. And again, West Virginia's got an opportunity, Fitz. I mean, Iowa State, again, we don't want to, this would legitimize things that they've done up to this point because nobody's saying that West Virginia's beat anybody any good. If you beat Iowa State, they're going to be able to say you beat somebody good. So here's a big opportunity to move here.
For both of them. Iowa State goes in and
that's
proves
right.
We can win at West Virginia. I don't care what their record was in the conference.
That's right.
This game will sort something out. That is a 7 p.m. game Central.
Yep.
On Saturday.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that football game. Next up here, we got Arizona State. Look, they got a huge opportunity on Friday night against Utah. Utah coming off a bye. Look, we thought Utah was the class of the conference until they got literally physically beat up at home by Arizona. So we thought they were the class of the conference. Arizona State, good come from behind win against Kansas. I think they're fighting. Look, they're at the beginning of the season, their win total was 4.5, and they're at 4. They got a chance to go bowling. They got a chance. And the one thing that I know, you go win this football game, the confidence of that team is going to go sky high. If they can beat Utah, I think they win at least 7 games on the season just because they're number one, they're good. Their confidence will be up there. They got an opportunity, but I got them at 8 right now.
I just realized we got double after darks this week. We got the Friday Utah Arizona State game and then the Colorado K-State game. I'll be watching this one. I'll be in Boulder in my own personal mindset watching this game. I have to stay up late on Friday. I know that because my old body won't stay up late for the game I'm covering on Saturday. So this will be great. This is an interesting matchup. It really is to kind of measure both these teams. This is kind of a sorting out week for the Big 12.
Yes, it is. I'm excited to watch that football game on Friday. At number 7, I have Colorado. Now, Colorado fans have been mad at me. They're saying they should be top 2 because they're undefeated in the conference, almost like you have to forget that they got bullied at Nebraska. Well, I'm not going to forget that. I'm sorry. This is where you are. You haven't beaten anybody any good. Don't tell me about that UCF game that you beat. The team that you beat was any good. They're not. But I will say this about Colorado. Nobody is going to be able to say with any legitimacy that if they beat Kansas State, that they haven't beaten anybody any good. That's what I'm going to say right here and now. We got to stop with they haven't beaten anybody any good if they can win this game in Boulder against Kansas State, because Kansas State is a good football team. And if Colorado can win, first of all, it legitimizes everything that Coach Prime has done up to this point. But then they'll have to keep going, obviously. But you can't say that they haven't beaten anybody good. But for now, I still have them at 7.
I think the importance of that UCF game is it showed that the track they're on this season is not the same as last season.
No, that's right. That's right.
They showed signs of getting better instead of falling apart. They showed signs now where they can stop the run. And last year they couldn't. They showed signs now they can run the ball, which last year they didn't.
Right.
So there are some really positive signs. And when you're building a program, you need those positive signs, but also fans shouldn't mistake positive signs for dominance. And I'm with you. If you beat Kansas State on Saturday night in Boulder, I'll buy in. K-State hasn't been good on the road, but if they really are good, they need to wake up and prove it in this game too. And I know Colorado fans are going to say this: if they whip K-State, everyone will just say K-State wasn't any good. Believe me, as someone who's covered Kansas State for a very long time, I know that game. It's been played against Kansas State for a lot of years.
Correct.
But I think we will recognize as the Big 12 insiders, that you're legit if you win this one. You're on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're on track. You're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, you're gonna hear that just because there's people that don't want Coach Prime to succeed.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear that from places all over the country. On this particular channel, if they win the game, I'm telling you right now, we're going to legitimize everything that Colorado is doing up to this point. So you're not going to have to worry about hearing that here.
Well, let me emphasize that. Let me emphasize that. Big B is a Prime fan. He wants this to work.
Yeah,
I've
said it many times. I want chaos, and I think how he's building a program, I don't think that it will work, but I want it to work because I just like for people to do things that are totally different than the norm. So I want him to be able to prove the naysayers wrong. Again, I don't believe that it will, but I want it to work. That's my thing. That's my thing. And I'm a Coach Prime fan. I want it to work, but you also have to show me.
Right.
And up to this point, if the only victory that you're going to stand on is UCF, it can't be that you're this great football team right now. Right now. So at number 6, now I'm going to catch some hell for this, but I don't care. And I can legitimize it too. Utah. Look, and I know what everybody's going to say, and I can just go ahead and we can talk about the number 5 team is Arizona. Okay. So Utah is 6, Arizona is 5. I get that Arizona lost last week, but the week before that, Arizona went to Utah and whipped them. So you're going to try to tell me that I can't see what I saw in that football game just because Arizona lost to Tech? No, I'm not going to unsee that. I'm sorry. If it were a month or 3 weeks previous to that, and we've seen 3 more games, I would say, you know what? Yeah, they beat them, but they've updated their resume. It is what it is. Utah hasn't played a game since then. Okay. So how am I supposed to update that resume? I'm not going to put you in front of a team that the last time you took the football field, they whipped you. I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do that, Fitz. And Utah fans, I'll be honest with you, I think you can respect that, because if the tables were turned and the same thing had happened, there'd be no way in the world that you would think that I should rank an Arizona team ahead of you that you had just beaten the way that Arizona beat you. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself, and neither could I. We got to deal with reality and what we see. And when the last time we saw Utah, Arizona whipped them. And it wasn't a month ago. It was a week ago. So this is where you are. You're at 6.
Yeah. I agree with everything you just said. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. They've lost more conference games, but technically they haven't, because the Kansas State game wasn't a conference game. They've lost more games in general, but I'm sorry. The last time we saw you play, this same Arizona team whipped you. So you can't be ranked ahead of them. Period. End of story. And speaking of number 5, that's where I have Arizona. That was a tough one. That was a tough one against Tech. Look, Tech hadn't shown defense all year, Fitz. Nope. They hadn't shown it all year. And yet, in this game, they showed some. And that was the way that they were going to have to win. Get some turnovers, stay in the game. And it wasn't that they didn't commit turnover. Taj Brooks never fumbles. He never fumbles the football. And not only did he fumble once, Fitz, he fumbled twice. Twice in this game. Arizona, they own the time of possession, but you turn the ball over 3 times, man, and you play against good competition that's playing some good defense. This is what happens. And that's what happened. They lost. I was back on the Arizona bandwagon. Still not sure that I'm off of it because, again, they've only lost 1 conference game. But I like Arizona at 5 this week.
I can't figure out Arizona. I'm so lost. I almost feel for Arizona fans. we're good, we're bad, we're good, we're bad. It's like, what are we?
Yeah.
It's a new staff. They're sorting it out. They did have some losses of personnel, but they got enough to beat you, but they also got enough problems to get exposed. And bless Tech. Now all of a sudden, here they come. The team we thought we'd see last year is finally showing up midseason this season.
Unbelievable, this conference, man. It's just so chaotic. Absolutely love it. Let's go to our reveal here. Okay, so the UCF Cincinnati, they basically have them flip-flop, not giving Arizona State the respect that I gave them, but just slightly, the publishers. They drop Arizona way down. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. How do you have Arizona at 8 with West Virginia? They're giving them more credit. Colorado. It's almost like the publisher said the Utah game didn't happen. Well, It did happen, but that's just me. That's just me. So I don't know. I'd find this one is a little weird to me, but it is what it is.
Agreed. I actually make this graphic, and I didn't realize that you have only one of the bottom 11 or 12 the same. That's crazy, and it's Kansas. Feel bad about that, Kansas. Everyone knows where you're at. But
some of them are a little far off, but
this graphic shows how weird this conference is. It's like, just put it in a hat, shake it up. You might be right.
It does. It does. So, well, let's get on to the final four here. Let's get this back up. At number 4, I have Texas Tech. Tech, look, like I said, we just saw them. Good. That was not a good road win. That was a great road win at Arizona. They showed they had some defense. They played a physical style of football, created those turnovers. Again, Tech hadn't played defense all year. Throw out the North Texas game. Against everybody else, including Abilene Christian, they played zero defense. They played some defense in this game.
Yeah.
They didn't have this crazy statistical passing and running game. That's not what happened. They were the more physical football team, and they ended up winning the game. You got to give them hats off. That's a tough road win. I mean, the game was over at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, it was absolutely insane. Good for Tech, man. I got them at 4.
It was impressive. They played at a level defensively I didn't think they were capable of against a pretty good offense. Yeah, you belong up here in the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for them, man. And again, it's kind of what you said. You look up, you think, man, their season started, they were terrible. Almost losing to Abilene Christian. The next week going and getting beat up by Washington State, but they're 5-1. Here they are. So good for them. At number 3, I have Kansas State. They were on a bye week. They hadn't done anything to say that they don't continue to deserve to be right where they are. Big road test for them coming up. You mentioned it. They have not been good on the road. You could even go as far as to say they've been bad on the road. I don't think that's a hot take or out of the question. They have been bad on the road. Can they handle adversity? Provo is a different type of crowd than what Boulder is. But don't tell me Boulder's not going to be rocking on Saturday night. It absolutely is going to be. How Kansas State handles adversity is going to be the key to winning this football game. And can they win the line of scrimmage? If they can do those two things, they'll win. If they can't, they won't.
This is a warning for all road teams going to Boulder this season, including Kansas State this weekend. Fellas, you're going to learn a lot of things about your mother from the crowd. You're going to learn a lot of things you didn't know about your family history. And you know what? You got to stand up to it. You got to resist the interactions and just focus on the game. This is a fascinating game for many levels. As an old Big 8 guy, I love this. You played at Colorado. It's a different place, than what you used to get in the old Big 8. It was at altitude, and it was just a different culture, basically. Yeah. But you couldn't be more right. You talk about 2 stadiums sitting at the foot of mountains in BYU and Colorado, and you couldn't have more different fans. BYU is going to kill you with kindness. Colorado fans just want to kill you. So this will be a great test for a young K-State quarterback in Avery Johnson to see if he can step up and kind of play better. Pull it together. He seemed to finally drop into the groove against Oklahoma State 2 weeks ago, but that was Oklahoma State. I mean, we now find out that they're just awful. So
Right.
this is a chance for either team winning this game will prove something about them in a positive way and set them up for maybe future success down the road in the conference.
Absolutely. Yeah. If he can handle some of that adversity, it's going to come his way. And then the team, look, he's a young sophomore, and I think the team responds to how he reacts. And he didn't react well in Provo. So
Nope.
then the team didn't react well.
Nope.
You know, that's a lot of burden to put on a young guy, but it's college football. It's football. The quarterback is the leader, right? Regardless of how old you are, that's just the way that it works. So I'm excited for the football game. I'll be out there too. I think it's going to be a great, great football game. At number 2, I have BYU. Look, BYU, a lot of people, again, are saying they haven't beaten anybody any good. I don't believe that. I think they have. I think they've proven themselves. But you know what? They got a big opportunity to win against Arizona. Now, the game's not at night. The game's at 3 o'clock, Fitz. So a lot of people are saying that BYU's a totally different team during the daytime than they are at night. Okay, that's fine. But if you're a good team, it shouldn't matter what time you play. And I think BYU's a good team. I like them winning this game. But the game, I still have them at number 2. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be the second best team.
BYU, have you considered, and I know this goes probably well against your religious principles, changing your mascot to the vampires? They too do their best work at night. It's shocking. Look, BYU is got a capability of being in the Big 12 championship. I've seen them up close. They do enough right. They don't make the mistakes they were making last year. The defense is so much better. Yeah. Can they sustain this though? Or will eventually teams kind of catch on to what they're doing and figure out how to solve that? Because right now they're in a pretty good groove, and can they stay there? That's the big question.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that about them. A lot of people are saying, you know, because they can't really run the ball. They've had a million injuries at running back. Their offensive line is starting to get banged up. And if they get into a game where they got to try to run it, they can't do it. I don't know. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove me otherwise. Because, again, I talked to them at Big 12 Media Days, and everything that from the coaches to the players, they all said the same thing. They were not a physical football team last year in the Big 12. Yep. They didn't realize how physical it was. Well, now they're playing that physical style of football. And you can chalk it up to maybe they were injured, whatever. I just know the coaches said they weren't prepared for it. Well, now it seems like they got themselves prepared, and they're playing good football right now. Let's see how it goes the rest of the season. And then at number 1, I've got Iowa State. Look, I think this fits is kind of, you know, Iowa State, let's dig in. Other than Iowa State hasn't really played anybody any good. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from that win at Iowa because that's a tough place to play.
That's why they're number 1.
Damn tough place to win. But other than that, they haven't been tested. I guess they got challenged a little bit by Baylor, and then they kicked it into high gear. It's almost like they're going through the motions until they have to kick it into high gear. But then they did kind of show that their offense can turn it on when they need to turn it on. So they haven't done anything that shows that they're not the best team. Big challenge this weekend, though. Look, going to West Virginia, you know that place is going to be rowdy. They're going to have all day. That game's at 7. They're going to have all day in Morgantown to get lathered up for that football game. So, again, another game I'm going to be interested to watch. Cannot wait. Big test for Iowa State, but to me, they're clearly the best team as of now. They're the number 1 team in the Big 12.
Win at home over North Dakota, win at home over Arkansas State, win on the road at Houston, which was in their we can't score any points mode, and then hammer Baylor last week. I get it. The Iowa win on the road, last second, dramatic, awesome, incredible. This week will prove more to me than anything else you've done since then. Go prove this one, because West Virginia thinks they're good. You think you're good. You might both be right, but I tend to believe one of you is wrong. Let's find out who it is.
Heck, I think this win, if they go win at West Virginia, this will prove more to me than even the win at Iowa. Because even that game, it's a rivalry game. It's early on in the season. You know, maybe attrition hasn't set in for anybody yet at that point. You're a little deeper in the season now. West Virginia, they feel like they're on a roll because they felt like they gave a game away against Pitt. Well, here you are. This is their opportunity to take a big jump in the Big 12. And here comes Iowa State. So if Iowa State can pull this off, I think it would prove more to me than even winning at Iowa. So, but let's reveal this whole thing here real quick. We had Kansas State the same. They have Utah at 4. Again, I just don't – I get it. Arizona lost, Fitz. I understand. But to put them ahead of Arizona, I just don't see how you can do that when literally Arizona physically beat them up a week ago in Utah. I don't get that. The rest of them, they have the same. That's where the flip is. But, yeah, the conference is crazy, Fitz. This conference is just nuts.
Look at the top 4, man. Think about where we had everything at the start of the season. Look at the top 4. This is insanity. I love this conference so much. Never change, Big 12. You can add teams and get rid of teams. Never change. The chaos continues, and we love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Like I said, I love chaos. I love I love 2 things about college football. I love chaos, and I love a hostile crowd. I love both of those things. So if the Big 12 is full of that, they're absolutely full of that. And again, if you're upset about these power rankings and you don't like them, first of all, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Be respectful, but let me know what you think. But secondly, come back next week because I guarantee you these things will be absolutely different, maybe even turned upside down on their head next week based on what's going to happen this week. And there's not even a lot of games this week, Fitz. You know, in the Big 12, what is there? 5 games this week. But they're all games that are between teams that can change the trajectory of what's going on in the hierarchy in this conference. So while there's not a lot of games, there's going to be a lot of stuff decided. So any final thoughts on our power rankings today, Fitz?
I think you're really good with yours. I'm now questioning my ability to rank 16 teams. I'm now understanding why I've always turned down voting in other polls. I'm not good at it. I have the attention span of a small child, and I probably shouldn't do it, but I will finish up my duties this season.
Absolutely. I understand.
I feel better about saying all that.
Yeah, there you go. Sometimes you just got to get it out. Just got to get it out. So I appreciate everybody, man. As always, remember to like, follow, subscribe, leave those comments, and more importantly, hit that notification bell to let you know when all Big 12 Insiders content is coming out. Again, this is our power rankings. Tomorrow we're going to have spotlights. I think we're at least going to have 2 spotlight games. We might have even 3 spotlight games for the week because, like I mentioned before, there's a lot going on this week in the Big 12 conference that can change the trajectory and the hierarchy of this conference. So make sure you tune into that and Big 12 game day on Thursday and also on Friday, Eyes and Odds, where Big B is going to be watching games. It'll be tough this week for me where I'm going to be watching some of these games because I'll be in Boulder, but I have all day. So, you know, all day to watch college football. So it is what it is. Maybe a whole lot won't change. But anyway, until then, we appreciate everybody for being in here. Thank you. We appreciate you. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.